All right, here we go. Episode 2 of the morning drive. It's 6:23. Happy Saturday, July 18th. I'm your host, Thomas Curtis. Still trying to figure out this live thing. Yesterday's episode was recorded. I had to edit it, upload it. So I'm trying to go live. We'll just check out. Yeah, so you can find this episode on YouTube. I also need to try and figure out how to get this on Spotify and Apple because a couple of people asked me about that yesterday. That'll be my goal for today. I work at 8:30, so hopefully maybe after work, maybe even before. But I mean, here we go. It doesn't stop. 11 in a row for your Boston Red Sox. Two in a row yesterday. One at 1 o'clock. One at 7 o'clock. Didn't matter. Fenway was packed for both. This train's not stopping. Simply put, it's not stopping. If this is the formula every night and you can get 4 runs like we were begging for the first couple months of this season, this is the formula for the Red Sox, and they hold a wild card spot. They're 48 and 48. We finally clawed our way back to 500 as fans, as a team, and they hold the third American League wildcard spot behind Texas and Minnesota, right ahead of Seattle and Baltimore. Seattle and Baltimore, two teams I think the Red Sox are much better than. Um, the Astros 2.5 back, Blue Jays 3.5 back, Tigers 3.5 back, and the A's 7.5 back. Completely dead are the A's. You know who's not dead are the Red Sox. Their first game back from the All-Star break, a 10-0 win, a mercy rule win if they were playing in Little League. Another win for Jake Bennett. He's 5-3. Alec Gamboa with a 3-inning save because they knew they had the bullpen game coming up in game 2. So they used 2 pitchers in this first game. Their plan every time they've had a pitching plan in this winning streak. They've completely executed it, and they go out and do it again in the afternoon yesterday. Um, I say we just get right into it. It's a lot of baseball talk. I don't have multiple topics really besides, the World Cup runner-up game this afternoon, and then we'll talk about the final tomorrow. Caitlin Clark went for 45 and 10 yesterday. I didn't obviously watch that game. I was at the Odyssey, but that's super notable. With Caitlin Clark, a player who's more been in the headlines for her technicals, potential suspensions, maybe her treatment from and to the referees. 45 and 10 will shut you up. So a win for the Fever. Don't really have much on that, but still a pretty cool thing because Caitlin Clark was next. She's had, more of a down year in her sophomore season, but 45 and 10 for Clark in that one. I say we get right into it. The 10-0 win yesterday. I can't believe it. I feel like when I watch this team, they score 5 runs and they're clawing out a win, and then I don't, and it's 10-0, and I'm missing offensive explosions. But on the defensive side, it was Jake Bennett. 6 innings, 3 strikeouts, only a walk, no earned runs, 65% strikes, just filled up the zone. What can you say about Jake Bennett? He's just been a professional pitcher, more than a professional pitcher. He's one of 4 pitchers in the live ball era to record a 6-game stretch with a sub 1.2 ERA. The pitchers on this list are Chris Sale 2018, Pedro Martinez 2002, and Roger Clemens 1990. 3 of the greatest pitchers single seasons we've ever seen, and Jake Bennett has a stretch that puts his name in that discussion. On the season, he's got a 2.35 ERA. His last 6 is a 1.17. His last 5 is an 0.81. I know the velo was a little bit of a concern, like I mentioned, didn't really watch this game, but 91, 92 to open on the fastball, and then 89, 90 for the rest of the day. So a little concerning, right? Because as I was talking about yesterday, you want it to be 93 to 95 on that fastball, especially with his kind of extension. 91, 92 sort of plays, but it could be better. 93, 95. That's just something to, monitor in his next start, but he's got a couple more days of rest. 15 days of rest for 2 starts, with this All-Star break is really helpful for a guy who hasn't thrown major league innings. On the offensive side, Durbin's 3 for 4, 2 ribbies, a run scored. His OPS, 699. Once that gets above 700, we're talking about a real baseball player. Even though we've been talking about a real baseball player with Caleb Durbin for about a month and a half now, that OPS, oh, it is 703. Maybe no, that would be updated. Baseball Reference says 703. It's a 99 OPS plus. A league average hitter from Caleb Durbin is a top third baseman in baseball. Uh, top 12 third baseman I don't really know what the top 10 looks like, but this is a elite defense, elite base runner, a league average bat that's not a completely sunken hole in a lineup. Someone that's moving runners over, taking walks. He's an RBI machine. What's his RBI count this season? 40. He had 53 all of last season in 136 games. Through 89, he's got 40. He's accumulated 2.4 WAR. He was 2.7 last season. He's completely on track to be the player that they bought for Kyle Harrison. Kyle Harrison on the IL, by the way, after a 6-start stretch that wasn't as good as his Cy Young campaign to open up the season. Shoot. Everybody that hated Durbin the first couple months, and listen, I wasn't a fan. How could you be watching that bat in that lineup? But everybody who really hated it and wanted him DFA'd don't really know baseball. You gotta let him ride it out. You gotta let him try to figure it out. And shout out to Durbin, man. Fenway is a tough place to figure it out. 2 months in, he's a 190 batter, can't stop striking out, and he's completely flipped it around. 235 hitter. Really impressive. And he's locked up that third base spot for pretty much the rest of the season. You accumulate 2.5 WAR at the third base spot. That Red Sox fans obviously are accustomed to a lot of power at that spot, but this is a guy who's doing his job in this lineup. Another guy doing his job in this lineup, Masataka Yoshida, 3 for 5, an RBI. He scored 3 runs. He's batting 385 in July. Folks, we're 18 days into July. We're well over halfway into July. I know we had the All-Star break, so it's 7 games, but 385 is unbelievable for a guy that doesn't have consistent at-bats. Wasn't even in there the second game of the doubleheader. He just shows up, and when he's in the lineup, he's done his job and doesn't complain when he's not in the lineup. He's obviously the struggle was finding consistency when he didn't have any sort of consistency in his role, but he's really found it just showing up and doing his own thing. I'm going to go to his Savant page. Still not qualified? Is that true? I don't even know the qualification limit, but yeah, he's not even at he's at 186 at bats this season. So there it is. Like, he feels like he's being very productive, very consistent, but he doesn't even have enough qualifying at bats to get himself a Savant page. 4 bombs, two in the last 3 games. He's batting 270. This is they've log jammed him completely because he's not a Breslow guy, he's a Bloom guy. But because he's under contract, they got to keep playing him, and they figured something out from the left side of the plate with Yoshida. Talk about figuring something out. Carlos Narvaez from behind the dish, 3 for 4, 3 RBIs. His first home run since April 28th. Third homer of the season. If you told me Carlos Narvaez at the beginning of the season, honestly. If you told me he was only gonna have 3 homers, I would have told you we had some problems, and shoot, we did, only 203 on the season for Narvaez, but a homer is encouraging. Maybe a big second half is the boost this lineup needs, because they're sorely missing his power. Carlos Narvaez last season was 15 homers, 50 RBIs. This season it's 3 for 9. Uh, he was 241, 306, 419. It's 203, 269, 297. Yeah, he's been poor, but a homer yesterday helps them in the 10-0 win. And who else but Jaron Duran with 3 RBIs. He was in a controversy. Dang. 6:30 a.m. I gotta get my speaking together. Uh Apparently threatened to beat up Tyler Milliken. Are you allowed to hit 195 and threaten to beat up podcasters that the whole fan base likes? I guess I should hold my tongue or else he's gonna threaten to beat my ass. I don't know. The whole thing's stupid. Many aren't following, so I won't really get into it. Uh, I'm kind of sick of this sub 200 Mendoza guy, sub Mendoza line guy with a scandal once a month. I don't care if it's using a slur, flipping off a fan, getting into an altercation. I literally feel like we hear something once a month about this guy not being able to behave himself. It's not even like he's 21-year-old Roman Anthony or 23-year-old Marcelo Meyer, who are in the headlines all the time in sports radio for being babies and not being good teammates. You want to talk about a bad teammate? This guy is all about himself, never does media, doesn't lead anybody, and he still has an endless, endless leash with this fan base and what seems to be this team. Jemai Jones had an at bat in game 2, and I was really hoping he'd do something, grounded out to Aranda over at first base, but I was hoping he'd produce something because I'm ready for someone to take Duran's spot. Still had 3 RBI. What was that? A double? Yeah, see, this is what happens when you don't watch the game. Yeah. Let's see. He had a sac fly and a 2-run double, I believe. Yeah, productive afternoon for Duran. Stop threatening people, man. Stop. On to game 2, the 11th in a row for your Boston Red Sox. A 5-3 win in the nightcap set of the set yesterday. So the first one splits the series from back in April that they had technically lost back then. Splits that series, and then this afternoon one, or evening game rather, opened up the new July series for the Sox and Rays. Bardo Rivera opened it up 2 1/3 innings, 3 hits, 3 earned. After what he gave you against the Mets, your rotation really was not reset at all. Your bullpen was kind of limp into the break with how much they'd pitched. He gave you 3 innings against the Mets. Today gives you 2 1/3. Weissert comes on to finish that inning. With 2/3 scoreless, he picks up the win. Giovanni Moran, 2 inning hold, and he started a chain of him, Guerrero, Whitlock, and Slayton, all with shutout innings, each with basically a K when you look through the box score. When you have a bullpen like that can put together 5 shutout innings in between your opener and your all-star closer, Aroldis Chapman picked up the save at the end with a couple strikeouts, went up top for 100 on Nick Fortes, struck him out. I mean, this bullpen, the Slayton thing was interesting because in June he was really bad, blew up a couple times. But at that point, the team was so bad. I felt like the entire roster was blowing up, so you couldn't blame Slayton. And now you've got this Guerrero, Whitlock, Slayton, because Tyron Guerrero is, dare I say, actually, I wish you guys could see my screen, but I'm not paying to have this screen shared or anything. Guerrero, 102 miles an hour, 102 miles an hour, 101.7, 1015, 1013. The five top pitch velocities from last night's game. He, dare I say, is an all-star. If he had, obviously, the scale. But you look at this guy's savant, he qualifies for two things: 99th percentile fastball velo, 94th percentile extension. What? 102 probably looks like 105, 106 to these guys because he's 6'8", and we just had him in Worcester. Now you got to make it to the sixth inning. That's why this quality start streak that the Red Sox had going was so valuable, because you make it to the sixth inning. You say you make it even to the seventh inning, you've got a combination of Guerrero, Whitlock, Slayton, and one can get some rest. And then you go to Chapman. Or you can sit down your all-star closer, and Guerrero, Whitlock, Slayton will slam the door on any offense. We saw them do it against the White Sox, a top 5 offense in the sport. We're seeing them do this against the Rays, who, I don't know their offensive ranks, but this is a team that literally makes runs out of thin air. They're called the Devil Rays. And this bullpen will just shut them down on command, essentially. This guy Guerrero, 5.43 ERA in 18, 6.26 in 19. Took a 6-year hiatus, comes back 2.21 in 20 games, 20 innings pitched. Oh, it's a 103 whip. He gave up a hit yesterday, and I was like, oh, that's unlike him when I was looking in the box score. That doesn't feel like Tyron Guerrero. 24 Ks in 20 innings. Guerrero's just been extremely, extremely impressive. This bullpen, obviously with the bullpen game now, you're going to need a strong start at a Sandoval, which you only got 4 1/3, and what can you expect? 5 out of Patrick Sandoval, unless he keeps the pitch count astronomically low. They're going to need him again, but they're all rested. And then you got to hope you get a Gray quality start to cap off the series. I don't know why I just blanked there. We'll move on to the offense here in a second. $6:41 a.m. Excuse me. Oh, God. That's terrible podcasting. On the offensive side, Abreu with 2 bombs. It felt like he hadn't hit a home run in like a month. He got 2. He got a really good reaction from the pitcher. I don't know who was throwing his second one. The guy drops to his knee, slams his glove on the ground. It's a solo shot. Abreu rounds the base. He hit 827 feet of home run yesterday, which I thought was a pretty cool stat. Contreras, homer in his first at bat. The home run derby never ended. He's great. As a guy doing a podcast, I gotta stop saying what can you say, but oh my God. A 925 OPS, all these home runs, big home run after big home run. Abreu has these 2 bombs, and you're high off of that. Wilson Contreras hits a back-to-back homer with him off his second home run. My first baseman for the next 3 years, hopefully for the rest of his career. Just great. I'm just kinda basking in it because Breslow made so many bad moves, even though I feel like we've talked about the bullpen being awesome and the rotation being the reason for this streak, and Contreras is fantastic, and Durbin is a league average bat, is a top 12 third baseman in the sport for pennies on the dollar compared to Bregman and Devers. And Tony Siegel's with an RBI last night, also in that same trade. Like, I have a hard time saying Breslow should be fired during this streak. I know, I mean, they make the playoffs last year. And if they don't have the worst luck in all of baseball, excuse me, they might be leading this division at 8 games back. Like, also, that's the big thing about this series. They were 10 games back yesterday. You just picked up 2 games of ground on the first place Rays because you're beating them head to head. And you have 4 head to head wins against the Yankees, who you're only 5.5 back of. That's been the biggest part of this stretch is, yes, they've gained ground in the wild card. They're also gaining ground in the division. Do I think they can win the division? Seriously? No. Because they're going to come back to earth eventually. They're not going to reel off 20 in a row. But gaining in the division is always a good thing. Put some pressure on these teams. You win these next 2 games by some miracle with how taxed your bullpen is. 6 games back of the first place Rays sounds impossible. Impossible. And it's still very much a possibility. Caminero with a solo shot in game 2. I said yesterday you got to keep him in the yard. If you're going to let him go, leave the yard. It can't be a multi RBI home run. I didn't say all that, but that's how you got to deal with Caminero. He goes yard in the second game of the series over the Monster. Didn't really have that much. I mean, it did because this game was 5-3, but a solo shot isn't demoralizing. You can get back on the mound and keep pitching after a solo shot. It's those 2-3 run home runs that will really kill you. We talked about Jake Bennett and how fantastic he's been, really monitoring his velo in the next start. But honestly, how could you be worried? He's bound to come down to earth. So you can't really say, like, you can't victory lap something, right? And be like, oh yeah, he's going to get worse. Because obviously, unless he's this kind of pitcher and he's the best ever, you can't really count on that. Of course, I'm in the wrong savant. Griffin Jacks. Excuse me, that was a serious yawn. To be fair, I'll get better at waking up, right? But tired today. We got the Odyssey discussion here later. That's so much red on his savant. So much red. So much red. I don't really know why I was going to his savant. I forgot. Apologies. That was, I don't know. Anyways, Jake Bennett, fantastic. Looking forward to his next start as always. In the AL playoff race, the Twins beat the Cubs 5-2, so they're 49-49. Technically half a game up on the Red Sox. No, tied up. Right, because they're both 500. Idiot. Rangers lose to the Braves 15-1. They're 49-48 behind the Red Sox. Mariners lose to the Giants 7-0. Odd. They should be able to outpitch the Giants, and Eldridge gets him for a home run, I think. I think Adama's got him for a home run. So they lose that game. Red Sox firmly in contention here. The third wild card. A win in a Twins loss or a win in a Rangers loss gives them the first or second spot today. So things to think about. For the standouts around MLB, Andres Chaparro. I've been saying all year, why is this guy hitting 2-hole for the league's best offense, Washington Nationals? Because when we saw them, obviously there was the big thing with Cavalli and the Contreras thing. I was more worried about they're batting a 143 career hitter in the 2-hole. He finally has his night there. Who is it? Blake Batera. His gamble pays off, I guess. It's a long-winded gamble. 4 for 5, 8 RBIs, 2 home runs. The Nats won 23-4 in Sacramento over the A's. My dad wants to bet me that the A's are going to go farther than the Red Sox. After a 23-4 win, I don't know what kind of value I could get on that bet, especially since the Red Sox are 7.5 games up on the A's as of right now, and I don't see the A's pitching themselves into, a big stretch like this. Chris Sale, 7 innings shutty, 6 Ks. Braves absolutely trounced the Rangers. Curtis Mead, 4 for 6 in that same game for Washington, 3 ribbies. Peter Lambert, double-digit Ks. 10 Orioles struck out in 6 innings, only gave up 1 home run. Elly De La Cruz, former Elly De La Snooze, excuse me. Only one person will understand that. Colson Montgomery, 2 for 4, 3 RBIs, and a walk in a 12-4 win for the White Sox. Those are your standouts from yesterday. We could go around the league. I probably will hold off on that. There's the standouts. World Cup third place games on tonight. France and England tonight at 5 p.m. Kind of wish that was the final. Obviously, I watched the World Cup. I'm really not qualified to talk about it. France and England. I thought France was winning it all. Quite frankly. They got shut out by Spain. They were missing a player. Forget his name. Spain's really good. Are they good enough to beat Argentina tomorrow? We will see. Really, sincerely hope so. England also kind of got screwed. I was at work not watching that game, but I heard they got screwed against Argentina. Came back on. Tough. So it's France and England at 5 p.m. today. My oh yeah for Steve Lacy review, 9 out of 10. He had 10 songs, 40 minutes. A couple of the singles on there, obviously. I thought it was really good. You could almost say, I could almost go through and go, yes, on all the songs. There was one that I didn't like. I don't know the names yet. I'll learn the names probably on this ride to work today. But a really good album, really worth the hype. Will be in the rotation for the rest of the summer, probably the rest of the year. And some of these songs will stay in my rotation for sure. Doom and the Nice Shoes and In Your World. That 9-minute double song. 2 really great ones off that album. Saw the Odyssey last night. Really pumped about that. We left the theater in disbelief. That was one of the coolest just theater experiences ever. Nolan is so great. The cast is unbelievable. Matt Damon, man. Wow. Straight up wow. Tom Holland as Telemachus. It's just so cool. The Trojan horse is one of the coolest stories ever. And to see that brought on the screen by Nolan, the Cyclops is, I'm not trying to really spoil it, but these are stories that you know about the Odyssey. when they go to Hades. Oh, just I felt like I watched the whole thing with my jaw dropped and just, like, waiting for more, not wanting it to end. Really, really cool movie. You should see it in theaters. You shouldn't wait for it to come to Prime or wherever it's coming. Go see it in a theater with the real experience, with the surround sound, with the whole big thing. Hashtag ad, I suppose, but just I'll probably see it again. I saw Project Hail Mary twice. Uh, it's probably worth seeing twice. It's worth seeing a ton of times, twice in theaters. I I I'm sure I'll own it at some point, or it'll be on some sort of streaming that I have consistently because wow. Wow, wow, wow. There's your media, updates for the morning. Red Sox and Rays, 4:10 first pitch. It's Patrick Sandoval in his second start of 2026, second start in a couple of years. We'll see how he bounced back with the All-Star break to help his recovery a little bit. Ian Seymour going for the Rays. Red Sox look to pick up a series win on a Saturday. Boy, it feels good, as Section 10 would say. They're looking to drizzle some ketchup. Imagine a 12 or 13 game win streak. We will have to see. That'll do it for the Morning Drive episode 2. If you have any, comments, things you want me to talk about next time, please let me know. A lot of you watching could just text me. Otherwise, comment if you don't know me. If you don't know me, thank you for watching. I thank you very much. Yeah, any notes on this? Let me know if you have name ideas because Morning Drive isn't here to stay. I need something cooler. Still thinking, still workshopping. Maybe I'll think of something while I'm at work today by episode 3. Episode 3 should be tomorrow. Should be around the same time. I don't have work tomorrow, so it'll be later in the morning. It won't be this early, but that's what you got. Thanks for tuning in to Morning Drive 2. See you tomorrow morning.